In August 1945, Japan stared into the heart of the sun, twice, and one man, Tsutomu Yamaguchi, stared back and survived. He was a naval engineer, a husband, a father, a man of quiet, unassuming discipline. But fate had a different plan. It would forge him into something unprecedented, something legendary, the only person in recorded history to endure 2 atomic bombs and live to tell the tale. This isn't just a story of survival. It's the story of a man whose spirit echoed the last breath of the samurai, and whose life became a solemn warning to the entire world. Tsutomu Yamaguchi was born in Nagasaki in 1916. His world was one of rolling hills, ancient temples, and the bustling shipyards that were the lifeblood of his port city. He wasn't a soldier, not a warrior in the traditional sense, but like so many men of his generation, he carried within him the unspoken code of the samurai, a deep sense of honor, an unyielding endurance, and an unwavering commitment to duty. In his late 20s, he was a brilliant naval engineer, designing oil tankers for Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, a critical role in Japan's war effort. By 1945, the tide had turned. The empire was crumbling. American bombers were systematically burning Japan's cities to the ground. Food was scarce, and hope was scarcer. And yet, duty called. Yamaguchi was dispatched on a business trip to Hiroshima, a journey of nearly 200 miles. He would arrive there on August 5th, just in time to witness the end of the world. The morning of August 6, 1945, dawned warm and deceptively clear over Hiroshima. At 8:15 a.m., Yamaguchi was walking to the Mitsubishi shipyard, not far from the city's docks. He was thinking about his project, about the designs, about his family back home. He happened to glance up at the sky and saw something impossible. A single B-29 bomber, the Enola Gay, glinting in the morning sun. Then, a blinding flash of light, more brilliant, more terrifying than 1,000 suns, consumed the sky. Instinct took over. He had just enough time to dive into a ditch, covering his eyes and ears. Then came the sound. A deafening, world-shattering roar that seemed to erase reality itself. The atomic bomb, codenamed Little Boy, had detonated 1,900 feet above the city, unleashing the force of 15,000 tons of TNT. Yamaguchi was less than 2 miles from ground zero. The shockwave slammed into him, rupturing his eardrums and throwing him through the air. The left side of his body was seared by the intense heat. Glass shards from exploding windows tore into his skin. When he finally dared to open his eyes, the Hiroshima he knew was gone. In its place was a hellscape. Buildings were flattened into dust and rubble. The sky was a churning vortex of black smoke. The rivers ran thick and black with debris and death. People, horrifically burned, stumbled through the ruins like ghosts, their skin melting from their bones. He saw shadows permanently etched onto walls where people had been vaporized in an instant. Dazed and bleeding, he staggered through the devastation toward the ruins of the Mitsubishi office. Miraculously, he found 2 of his colleagues, Akira Iwanaga and Kuniyoshi Sato, alive amidst the wreckage. The 3 men, bonded by the shared trauma of surviving Armageddon, spent a harrowing night in the shattered, smoldering remains of the city. As dawn broke over the wasteland, they knew they had to get home. They began the long, agonizing journey back to Nagasaki. 2 days later, on August 8th, Yamaguchi arrived in Nagasaki. His hair was singed, his arms were heavily bandaged, his eyes were hollowed out by the horrors he had witnessed. When his family saw him, they thought they were seeing a ghost. His own mother didn't recognize him at first, but he was alive. He was home. Anyone else would have collapsed, would have retreated into the safety of their home to heal. But Yamaguchi was a man of duty. Despite his severe injuries, he insisted on reporting for work the very next day, August 9th. He walked into the Mitsubishi office in Nagasaki to give his report. He stood before his supervisor, trying to find the words to describe the indescribable. He spoke of Hiroshima. He explained what he had seen. A single bomb, a flash of light, and an entire city wiped from the face of the earth. His boss listened, a look of disbelief on his face. He finally shook his head and laughed. "You're an engineer, Yamaguchi," he said. "You've been through a trauma. Your mind is playing tricks on you. You've clearly gone mad." And at that exact moment, at 11:02 a.m., it happened again. The windows of the office flashed with an impossible, blinding white light. The B-29 bomber Boxcar had just dropped its payload on Nagasaki. This bomb, Fat Man, was a plutonium device, 3 times more powerful than the one that had destroyed Hiroshima. The blast wave ripped through the city, and the Mitsubishi plant where Yamaguchi stood was less than 2 miles from its epicenter. The force of the explosion threw him violently to the ground. But somehow, by some miracle of fate or sheer will, he lived. Again. The fresh bandages covering his burns from Hiroshima were ripped away, his wounds torn open once more. For the second time in 72 hours, he found himself at the heart of a nuclear inferno. And yet, his luck held. His wife and infant son, who were sheltering at home further from the blast, also survived. Over 70,000 other people in Nagasaki were not so fortunate. For days, Yamaguchi wandered through the blackened, radioactive ruins of his own hometown. He had seen 2 worlds end. He had walked out of the fires of both. The experience was too profound, too terrible for words. After the war, Yamaguchi tried to piece together a normal life. He went back to his work as an engineer. He and his wife raised their children. He was a survivor, but the memories were a constant silent companion. The mushroom clouds haunted his dreams. For decades, he remained silent about his unique and terrible experience. He felt a deep-seated shame, a survivor's guilt, and believed that no one could possibly comprehend what he had endured. But as he entered his old age, something shifted. The silence became a burden he could no longer carry. He realized his story wasn't just his own. It belonged to the world. He began to speak out. He visited schools, appeared on television, and even addressed the United Nations. With a quiet dignity, he called for the complete abolition of nuclear weapons, his voice carrying the weight of a man who had seen humanity's most destructive power unleashed not once, but twice. He argued that no human being should ever again have to endure what he had seen. In 2009, the Japanese government officially recognized him as a Niju Hibakusha, a double-bombed person. He was the only person officially confirmed to have survived both atomic bombs. Tsutomu Yamaguchi passed away in 2010, at the age of 93. He died in Nagasaki, the same city that had once been erased by fire and fury. He outlived the presidents who ordered the bombs, the generals who planned the war, and the scientists who had harnessed the power of the sun. His life was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. When asked what kept him alive through 2 apocalypses, his answer was simple and profound. He said, "I was lucky, and I want the world to remember how unlucky war can be." In a world still armed with thousands of nuclear weapons, the story of Tsutomu Yamaguchi is more than just a piece of history. It's a chilling warning and a powerful plea for peace. He was not a warrior in armor, not a hero on a battlefield, but in his quiet endurance, his unwavering sense of duty, and his final, powerful message to the world, he became the last samurai, a man who faced not a sword, but the terrifying light of 2 dying suns. Thanks for watching. If you were moved by the incredible story of Tsutomu Yamaguchi, the man who survived 2 atomic bombs, please hit that like button and subscribe for more unforgettable stories from history. We'll see you in the next one.